welcome to the InstantCast presented by the Pewtercast. This is our live call-in show following up with the games that we have going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our beloved Buccaneers. What in the world is going on? I am Brent Allen, your host. With me, as always, Ren Dax, my co-host. Ren, how you doing again tonight, buddy?
I have no answers. That's how I'm doing. I do not what to say. There is no silver lining to grab onto. The team is officially feels like it's in shambles. They're getting in fights on the field. Our quarterback's taunting, walking onto the field while he's not playing, taunting other players, then poking them in the helmet, blocked punts, ineffective running game, can't protect the passer, can't catch the ball. I don't know, man. It's bad. It's as bad as it's been for a long time. At least when we're going through the recent lean years of Schiano and Morris. At least we knew we stunk.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that there wasn't talent on the roster. With this, it's just I have no answers.
Yeah, it's I've said it for a couple of weeks now. I've said it a lot over the last week. This team does not have a talent problem. We have all the talent in the world. That's not our problem. Yet it's not translating to the field. We have all the talent we could possibly want, except maybe a couple of spots on the team. But there's enough talent at other places that should make up for those spots. Every team's going to have some holes on their team somewhere. You just have talent around them that helps make up for it. We have that. Why it's not being put together, what's going on? A lot of people, the chat room is blowing up, Ren. Blowing up, and everybody's got their thoughts, and this is the show to get to air those thoughts. This is the show where we get to put those thoughts to test, and we get to talk about it. This is the InstantCast. This is a live call-in show, so I want to say welcome to everybody who is in the chat room right now at mixler.com/thepewtercast. You guys are awesome for jumping in, and I'm going to open the phone lines for you guys here in just a moment. I'm laughing at something that just came across the chat room, Ren, and remind me to tell you about it in just a minute. Before that, we will get to – now, listen, last week we kind of said, hey, all the gloves are off. We tend to keep this a PG-13 show, and we said all the gloves are off. Have at it. Do whatever you want to do. Now, Ren, I don't know about you. For me, I honestly was a lot more pissed off last week than I am this week. I know – other people are not. How are you compared to last week? Where are you on the pissed off to disappointed meter?
Yeah, I'm after the game or during the game, I was pretty pissed off. Like I realized at one point I snapped at my girlfriend.
Oh.
She came in the room and
she didn't miss that ball.
She asked about it. That was her fault.
Oh, nice.
Should have looked at the score before you asked.
Sure.
So I realized I'm like, wow, this game is affecting me more than the Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just disappointment. It's embarrassment,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not that I'm not embarrassed for the team. I'm embarrassed that I'm putting all this effort and hope and, energy into this team, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's not being reciprocated. Right, that game looked like they didn't have coaches.
Right.
It was just who knows. Like I could have been calling the plays. I don't know. It's pretty high to answer your question. It's compared to last week. It's pretty high. I was really calm last week.
Mm-hmm.
Most everybody else was more upset about last week than I was. This week, it's just. I just feel like, I got slapped in the face by the team.
Right.
I
get that.
We're going to turn it around. This is the week, and this, if it was going to be any week, it had to be this week. It had to be because now they all know, like as far as the postseason, that's gone.
Right.
I know people like to use the phrase "the season is over." Well, the season's not over. There's 8 more games, and they're going to play those games no matter what. But the postseason is now, it's gone. Like, it's over. And they knew in their heart of hearts that if they didn't win this game, that the season was over. And the best you could come up with is, finish off 30-3, 30-10. Winston looked awful. He threw the ball out of bounds to Mike Evans on a deep pass. Threw the ball out of bounds, a deep pass to Deshaun Jackson. Threw it away from Cameron Brate. Threw it short to Deshaun Jackson. Threw it short to Mike Evans. I mean, he couldn't hit short passes, intermediate passes, deep passes. I don't know. I have some thoughts.
So it sounds to me, Ren, like you are like the team, because I typically going into the show, I don't watch any of the press conferences. I don't watch any of the locker room film or anything like that. But I did a little bit today. I watched some of the things that went out, and the word that comes to mind every time I look at Koetter these days, every time I look at the guys on the team when they're talking, especially right after a game, every time, honestly, you and I get on the mic, and we do it 3 times a week, and the word is befuddled. There's a good fun word. Befuddled. Trevor in Orlando in the chat room says flabbergasted. Can we come up with any more fun words? So, Ren, here's the deal, buddy. I think tonight, Balderdash, shenanigans. I think so for me, I am not as pissed off this week as I was last week. So I am back to my PG-13 rating. However, if you or anyone else wants to call in, let me tell you what, I'm not editing the show. So however the show goes is however it goes, and you guys can interpret that however you want. So with that said,
taking yourself out of. I'm not saying you can curse. I'm not saying you can't either.
I'm just saying I won't edit it out if you do.
I'm not editing this out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
you over.
With
I'm
that,
going to drive that way. You can go wherever you want, but I'm driving that way. All right. Okay. Thanks, officer.
There you go. Well, guys, so if you want to call in, I'm going to go ahead and open the phone line right now. We'll be here with you guys for about the next hour until you guys stop calling. That number is 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. Drop that number in the chat room for all the fans that are over there. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us. Until we get a call in here, Ren. Never mind. It's coming. Hold on.
Okay, because I can't hear it.
Yeah, it's coming. Hold on.
Do 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 do. That's the phone. That's my best I got.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Is it really the best you have? I feel you could do better. I think you're right.
There we go.
No, so now is it coming in for sure this time?
Yeah, it's there. Welcome to the InstantCast with Brent and Ren. Who do we have here with us tonight? Uh-oh.
Okay, good. It's just not me, because I didn't hear a thing. I didn't hear the phone ring.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the person talk.
Let's see here. You guys remember those technical difficulties I was talking about before we started the show? Might be some of those happening right now. So I apologize for that. Let's see if we can't get that fixed. You guys keep trying to call in. And in the meantime, Ren, until we get a phone call, go ahead and talk to us. Bucs Princess in the chat room. Wow, it's fun to see you. I heard you did well on your exams and stuff. But Ren, I'm going to continue to work on this. Why don't you go ahead and talk for us? Start talking to us about the game, wherever you'd like to start.
And go. Okay. Where do you start? I've never really had to filibuster before. So let's see. Let's just go through all the position groups, shall we? Jameis looked terrible. Doug Martin, for some reason today, he decided to run to the line of scrimmage, then come to a complete stop on multiple occasions. He did it so many times that he actually got pulled.
Hold on there, Ren. Let's see what we got here. All right, we'll see. Hey, there sounds good, Tone. Who do we got here talking to us tonight on the InstantCast with Brent and Bryn?
Hey, Brent, can you guys hear me?
Craig, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Craig in Vegas for all of our listeners out there. Ren calls in quite often. Javier, I believe that is you trying to call in, buddy. Give me just a minute, and we'll make that happen for you here. Craig, what's on your mind tonight, my friend?
Well, as Lovey would say, mad? No. Just very disappointed. Disappointed. You could kind of see it coming after last week's result, this game as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
They can talk about heart and trying to rally up and save the season, but words mean nothing, actions mean it all as well, too. And that team, they gave up. The tackling today by the defense was a sign of we're throwing the towel in. Jameis shouldn't have really played this game. First of all, he's having a bad season. Not bad to the standards that we hold him to,
mm-hmm.
but not bad if you're looking at NFL stats. But what we're looking for, he's not playing up to par. And I think the injury is key as well, too. I also think people argue with me. I think that was a late hit as well, too. I don't think Jameis gets much protection from the referees as well, too. He had clearly already let the ball go, and the guy drove him in the ground on his shoulder, knowing the guy had a hurt shoulder as well, too. So I don't think he's getting much protection. I think the only positive thing you saw today was the emergence of Barber. I think a lot of us have been calling for it since game one. He had a good game against Chicago. Enough is enough. A lot of us can see the all-22. The holes are there as well, too. The same holes that Doug Martin's running right up the ass with the center and the guard, Barber's getting 4 and 5 yards as well, too. Maybe he gets a start next week. I don't know. But that was good to see, at least to say, hey, listen, the definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over again. They finally changed that up a little bit as well, too. But there's a lack of leadership on this team. There's a lot of guys that don't know how to win as well, too. And as you look back to the draft class as well, too, this year now,
mm-hmm.
Other than Beckwith, did we really address any needs that this team needed the most? Justin Evans was awful today. He bit on the fake. He missed a key tackle in the end of the second quarter touchdown by Akamora as well, too. And he missed 2 or 3 other tackles as well, too.
I think Justin Evans got dragged like 10 yards today.
Yeah.
At one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then lost the tackle. Didn't even make the tackle. He lost the tackle.
Yeah. And then on the play action bit when he rolled up there, it went right over his head. He was awful as well, too. There's a whole mess in the team, and it's hard to fix it all at once as well, too. And listen, my feeling is 7-9 is the Mendoza line this year. I think if anything below 7-9 at this point, all bets are off for what the Glazers are going to do as well, too. You got to sell a fan base there that's re-upping for 5 or 10 years on their season tickets, and some are some very expensive ones.
Mm-hmm.
And for 10-plus years, you haven't made the playoffs. And so what are you telling them what's going to happen next? It's like, well, prove it to me a little bit as well, too. And I'm afraid to see what the attendance is going to be next week against the Jets game as well, too. I get a lot of tickets are sold as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to see a lot of no-shows in that building next week as well, too. And I know it's maybe not Dirk's mentality or whatever as well, too. But at some point or another, don't you want to see him rip some ass on the sideline on somebody or go nuts, or when Jameis got driven on the shoulder to go out and at least fight for his guys as well, too? There was a blatant holding call they didn't call against when Ayers got held as well, too, on one touchdown play as well, too. You want to see some, they're going to feed off the emotion of your coach as well, too, and he doesn't just show any. And I know that's maybe not that's not the way he does things, but at some point or another, like if there's fight from your coaches or your head coach as well, too,
mm-hmm.
maybe you'll get a little more fight back from this team as well, too. Everybody's been saying like for a while that this was the softest training camp and all these things as well, too. Well, something's not working this year, and maybe it worked last year, but you got to change things up because this is a year-to-year, week-to-week league as well, too. There's something not right with this team, and I can't put my finger on it, but there's something not clicking right within that locker room as well, too. And, I can't put it, but I'm just telling it from the leader of the team, Dirk Koetter, I just want more fight from the guy as well, too. Do some ass as well, too. Do something different because the glass is down by your nose, looking at the playbook, not knowing really what's going on as well too. Something's got to change, and this is not working right now.
Yeah, it is. And hey, Craig, I tell you what I'm going to do. Last week we kind of had a rule where we let people call in and have their say and talk about whatever they want. And because there's a lot of people wanting to call in, I'm going to go ahead and clear the line. But Ren and I heard what you said, and we're going to respond to what you said. Okay?
All right, guys, I'll be listening. Thanks, man.
Craig, thanks so much for calling in, buddy.
You got it, boys.
All right, thanks. Ren, are you good on your side, by the way? I just want to make sure.
I am good. I am good now. Yeah.
Great.
I didn't hear a word he said until he talked about Jameis is getting slammed down on his shoulder.
Awesome, but at least you're good now.
Yes.
So move forward. So he said 7 and 9. He felt anything after that would be probably fireable offense. That's only a 2-game slide from last year. Does that? This team gets to 7 and 9. Do you think that Koetter's still gone, or is it going to be a lot lower than that? And we're pressing the reset button yet again? Because this is going to be our talk.
Here's my talk. Who gives a shit? Like, who gives a fuck about 7 and 9 right now? I mean, you are a terrible. You haven't fixed anything all year long. Anything. A team goes out and lays a goose egg, offensive or defensively. They go back to the drawing board, and at least it gets fixed. A defense is poor against the run, like the Dallas Cowboys were, and so they went from zone and switched to man. Maybe they're giving up some more, deep plays defensively, but now they stop the run. Like, the Bucs haven't fixed anything, and the Bucs have scored 16 points in the first half. The last 5 or 6 games with a couple of goose eggs. I mean, nothing's getting better. The team is going backwards instead of forwards, and they keep saying how they're going to fix it, and they're it's all lip service. I don't give a shit about 7 and 9. I really don't. Like, I want to go into one Buck in the locker room and give them a piece of my mind. Like, that's where I'm at now. I mean, obviously they're not going to listen to me, and I can't get in the building in the first place. But I'm at that point where it's like, what the fuck is going on? I want to look them all in the eye and make them look at me and see the disappointment in my face and what you're making me go through because you can't figure something out, because you can't find your run gap, because you can't make a freaking – where the hell was Quan Alexander all goddamn game? He was flat on his belly, missing tackles. It was just so bad. And then they're going to talk crap in their interview about, oh, yeah, we're going to turn around. Yeah, it starts now, blah, blah, blah. And then you go and you lay a goose egg. And I'll tell you else what I'm tired of, and I kind of talked about it a little bit on, the Buck and the News show, or maybe it was, the main episode, is I'm done with these Jameis Winston pregame speeches. Eating the W? What are you doing?
Yeah, that's just embarrassing.
This isn't college. Like, you can't go out there and tell your team that they need to do their job when you go out there and continue to lay goose eggs game after game after game. It's been 3 weeks since he's had a good game. It was the Buffalo game. That was the last game. He had a very good game in the Buffalo game. The past 2 weeks, just terrible. Terrible quarterback play. Terrible quarterback play. So you need to shut your mouth. Like, I'm not saying get rid of him. He is the guy. He's going to be the quarterback of the future. Yep. But all this extra crap about, writing letters and, doing these pregame speeches. Go ahead and grab that. Like, I'm done with that. Put your nose in your playbook and quit poking people in the back of the head when you're not even playing.
That's right. All right. Well, who do we got here calling us all the way? Looks like from Panama.
Well, I guess the third time is the charm, gentlemen. How are you tonight?
What's up, Javier?
Oh, Ren, by the way, do you kiss your mother with that mouth? Jesus Christ. We said PG-13,
no,
and
my
I just
mom's
keep
dead.
hearing you whipping some words.
My mom died. Take that, Javier. No, she's not dead.
Oh, man.
I'm teasing.
Well, hey, to me, guys, we got like the deer in the headlight look right now. I think we just can't strike a balance. Either we go to the McCoy type of speeches before the Dallas game on Sunday night last year, or do we go to the Jameis speech today? And we just can't strike the middle. It's either one way or the other. It seems like it's been like that all season. And I was actually so mad that I had to write what I wanted to say because I know I'll get lost off track.
All right, Javier, go for it.
This team right now is really testing my English. Like, I'm running out of adjectives that I know to describe how bad we're playing. I mean, it's not only that we're bad. I mean, we're playing soft. My dog's belly is harder than the way we're playing right now. And we're being out-prepared. We're being out-coached. And we're being outplayed by every other team. I mean, when was the last time you remember where we won the line of scrimmage on both sides?
Mm-hmm.
When was the last game do you think the entire team showed up? I mean, this is a bad football team. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Keep going.
Oh, wait. The thing is, you know how bad things are that I just lost power on my house.
Oh, dang.
It seems like this is like a sign of bad things to come, or things I've seen this season. So wait, where I was? Okay, this team, we're a bad football team. We have a 2-6 record at the halfway point of this season, and we have no semblance of leadership. I mean, this season is spiraling quickly out of control from being just a bad season to looking like 2011, where we lost 10 straight to finish the season. I mean, I saw and I smelled quit after halftime when the Saints scored. When the Saints scored that rushing touchdown, I think that the team quit, and I saw that, and I'm embarrassed to say that because I love this team so much. But my God, what are we going to do? I mean, to me, the entire game, it feels like a blur. I paid so much attention, but I can't remember many details. I just got so mad that I turned off the TV, and then somebody writes to me and says, "Yo, Jameis was in a fight," and I go and look at it, and what I saw left me speechless. I mean, I lost a lot of respect for those two guys, especially on Evans. I mean, that hit is on a call for.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was Lattimore gave a little shove to Jameis, but Jameis was poking him like some child, some arrogant child that doesn't know how to lose. And then Evans goes and blindsides him. If I'm the Glazers, I sit them both tomorrow at 6 a.m. on my office to remind them that they're the captains of this team. That C on their chest means something. The team, they feed off of them, so they can't be acting like that. You can't be under pressure and snapping at people like that. People in high positions, they know how to handle pressure. Brent, I know you talk about, I've seen you talk about a lot about leadership, and that's not the type of leadership that I want from this team. I mean, you saw what Ali Marpet did after that. That's the type of leader I want. He went and he tried to keep everybody calm. He tried to separate Lattimore from our sideline. That's what I want. And as of right now, I have no idea where the Mendoza line for this team is. After we started 2-3, I was hoping for 8-8, but as of right now, I just wanna get rid of this losing streak and just start fresh from there and see where it goes. But I don't believe that resetting this team every 2 years is the way to go. And I know what you guys said that, and I agree with you in that sense. But we need some changes in the off season, and that's about it.
All right, Javier. Well, hey, listen, we heard that. I'm going to keep to the thing of I'm going to let people have their say, and we're going to clear the line, but we'll definitely respond to what you just said there, all right?
No problem. And we'll keep in touch and keep it up, man. Go Bucs.
Thanks, Javier. Go Bucs. Phone line's open. If anybody else wants to call in, 864-729-BUCS. That's 864-729-2827. Jameis getting into a fight. Jameis and Mike Evans getting into a fight, Ren. What about it?
Who cares? Who cares?
I know you're
Donovan Smith. Why does Donovan Smith think every offensive play ends after 1.5 seconds?
That's a great question.
He'll touch the guy and they'll get in their little thing and then he just stops.
Yeah.
Like even when Jameis, like when we got our only field goal, when it was like 3rd and 20 because, Sweezy probably held or something. Jameis has to do this. roll out, and then he finds Charles Sims, but Donovan Smith, gets his guy, doesn't get Jameis. Jameis rolls out, and Donovan Smith goes after the guy, but since he was too far, he just sort of jogged over and like tapped him on the shoulder as he ran by him to go get Jameis again. Like, nobody. Yeah. It doesn't seem like anybody out there gives a shit, and they don't want to. It's like they don't want to play.
Well, let's see what our next caller has to say. You're on with Brent and Ren. Who do we have here tonight?
It's the chef, guys.
Chef, how's it going? I fear asking that question of you, but how's it going, my friend?
Hey, Chef.
Hey, Brent and Ren. Really, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not disappointed. I'm just drained. I mean, this team, Ren, you keep nailing it. I mean, this team, they don't give a shit. I mean, how is it every time? I mean, we hear the same song and dance. We gotta do better than this. We gotta do better than that. You don't fucking show it. I swear, it's like a peewee team could beat this team right now. It is that bad. It's inexcusable. And I got to say this. A lot of people were talking about the whole Jameis and Mike stuff. Did anybody see Dirk Koetter? I mean, what the hell is he doing on the sidelines? He's not doing jack shit. He's just letting it all happen. Where's the fucking leadership from the goddamn head coach to step in there and separate everybody? He's not trying to do jack shit. It's like looking at Lovey out there. He wasn't doing jack shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lost some respect for Dirk right there. He didn't even try to get involved.
I think he said he didn't see it. That's what he said. He didn't see it.
It was right in front of him. What was he looking at?
I know. That's air quotes. He didn't see it. No, Jeff, man, I agree with you. You got anything else here before I let you go?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we could talk about the coaches, we could talk about the players, we could talk about the culture and all that stuff, but it's just, when are we going to see this team just cut the bullshit out, cut just enough of this BS that keeps happening? When is this team finally going to grow the hell up, grow a pair of balls, go out there? You're being paid millions of dollars to do a job. Do it. Don't say you're going to do it. Actually do it. Give us fans our money's worth. We spend our hard-earned money in, and actually give us a product we can be proud of for a change, instead of shitting all over us like you do week in and week out, year in and year out.
All right. Is what it feels like sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, it's that's not even the half of it.
Yeah. So, all right, Chef. Well, thanks for calling. I'm going to stay true to what I've said. I'm going to let people have their piece, and I'm going to clear the line to let the next person call in for them. Okay.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chef. Thanks for calling in. We'll talk to you next week, buddy. Chef Aaron, Ren, you were saying who gives a shit. Chef was kind of saying the same thing, and here's what I'd say. We all do, and that's why we're here talking, and that's why we're getting in this. Let's see who we got calling in here next. One after another tonight. I love all the phone calls we're getting. Sounds like we got a little bit of echo in the background. If you could turn us down just a little bit and let us know who we're talking to tonight.
Hey, guys, it's Kevin from Tampa. What's going on?
Kevin Sloan, buddy.
What's up, Kevin?
Wow, you guys must have missed me, because I definitely didn't call in last week. Maybe I should have called in last week.
Well, like I said, I'm not editing anything, so whatever you got to say, brother, go for it.
Well, words can only describe how sad, mad, and disappointed how I feel about the Bucs. For me, looking at my fantasy score today, I pretty knew that the Bucs were getting destroyed. When freaking Kamara destroy us like he did, got 28 points in fantasy. Broke my heart a little bit. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
Words can only describe how pathetic this team has played. Honestly, this has been a curse I think the Bucs have been played since Gruden was fired. You can see it from the names of Raw, Shiano, Lovey, and now Dirk Koetter. It's just unimaginable how bad this team has been after we gave so much promise after last year's success. It's just become now this year's total failure, especially when you're having your franchise quarterback get hurt. Then it wants to initiate a fight on the sidelines. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Don't become Andrew Luck. Just don't do it.
Yeah, that was a bad look for Jameis. I still don't know what he was doing. That's freshman college, high school crap where you walk on the field and taunt the other player. Yeah, I mean there's no place. I can see there's a place for it in the pros, but that's like the guys in the sweatsuits that aren't playing, or the defensive back wide receiver talk. All those guys think they're prima donnas. Jameis has no business whatsoever being on the field, no business pointing in some guy's face, especially when you're down. I mean, they're already down 30-3 or something, and then you go and you poke him in the back of the head. What are you What are you doing? We've had this talk about how mature Jameis
it's like initiating your fight with your little brother.
Yeah,
it's like poking at your little brother saying, "Hey, you did it."
We've always had this conversation about how mature Jameis is, but if you want to bring everything under the umbrella of maturity, he's not. Remember how we got in the fight during his first Thursday night game, the Rams game?
Was that the one where he headbutted somebody?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then Sunday night. No, that was Sunday night in Dallas. The next big game he had, he goes and attacks a defensive tackle for some reason, gets a 15-yard penalty. During the Patriots game, I'm not going to say he's more worried, but I am going to say it. He was more worried about meeting Tom Brady than prepping for the game. It's like you have to what are you fucking doing? Take your fingers out of your mouth, go sit on the bench, let Quan, let the other guys get his team fired up, because you've got work to do, man. You've got stuff that you can't be everything to everybody on this team. He's trying to micromanage everything, and you're not good enough of a player yet to demand that much respect in the locker room. If I was in there...
Do you think he's trying to act like the coach? Do you think he's acting more like the coach that doesn't really, bring that mentality, which he kept saying that, I'm going to, speak softly and bring an MS and stick. But obviously, my God, the coach has been just as silent as some of these players are.
I don't know what's going on with Koetter, man. I've used the word disconnect a lot, but...
I think he's lost the team. I think he's honestly going to hit Lovey status, because it's been terrible. It's like when they turn their back on Schiano, it's just like, oh yeah, Schiano's going to screw this team over. It's just like Dirk's just in his own way of just saying, you know what, I'm going to talk the talk, but I can't walk it. And honestly, this team is not walking it, because there is no savior coming in right now, and I honestly don't even know where to even start. I've been preaching, I think, to you guys both on Twitter that honestly, these owners need to bring some kind of culture. And there's no identity. We've all mentioned it. There's no identity on this team. They're just heartless right now. They're just heartless. It sucks. I've honestly even thought of ideas of bringing a president of football ops to maybe oversee this team. I know some people said that I'm crazy for thinking it, but honestly, maybe we need that, because I don't think we never had a president of football ops. We may have guys think they were GMs, but GMs can only do as much. I'd rather have a president to oversee the team and maybe find the right people in those spots. I wouldn't say fire Jason Light, but Jason Light made some questionable calls, honestly. Look at the trade deadline. Sat on his thumbs, did not realize that we need a corner. We need a pass rusher. I understand draft picks are a premium. Damn, you got the Giants, DRC sitting on the sidelines, not even playing for the team, and they're getting blown out by 30 some points.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Yep.
And Brandon, can I just say I love your preaching? Can we have more of that verbal? I love it.
Maybe.
We're gonna give Renda a pulpit. We're gonna go run the pulpit. Hey, Kevin, I'm gonna go ahead and clear this line here for the next person to call in.
Okay.
But thanks for calling it. We'll definitely.
So next person, keep bringing it.
Yeah, you guys keep calling.
Thanks,
you guys have been going one after another. Definitely keep it doing. The phone line is clear if anybody wants to call in. Lots of great conversation happening over in the chat room. Trevor in Orlando in the chat room, Ren, kind of coming off of what Kevin was saying there, is saying that he feels like Jameis should be benched for at least a game, take football away from him. I think he's going to be benched just in terms of medical necessity here. It seems like that's going to happen. But, listen, in college, when he got up and he got benched for a game, that had a profound effect. Scott Reynolds did a big Fab Five where they went back and kind of did something about how that game worked. Had a major effect on Jameis when he was, 19 years old, 20 years old, something like that, because of what it did for him and his little brother, who's kind of more like a son than a brother, and blah, 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 blah. Maybe there's something to that. Because as you said, Jameis needs to grow up. There are certainly things about Jameis, and I've kind of been alluding to this for the last bunch of weeks. The rah-rah speeches and all of that kind of stuff is not what I said it today. That's not leader. When I talk about leadership, the rah-rah speech is not leadership. The rah-rah speech, I think you said it, Ren, is very college-like. This isn't college anymore, the way he does it, Yeah. Now, I get it. You're 23. You're still young and all of this. Okay, great. It's time to turn that corner. It's time to put away the things of college and the things of your childhood and welcome to the big boy leagues. These speeches come different. You lead these guys different. You bring them out, and to just go out there and say, hey, we're going to go get this W. We're going to go get in the end zone. We're going to just go do this stuff. Listen, I love the expectation of winning, but let's talk about how we get there first. Let's talk about what we're going to do in order to get there. It's like you automatically just want to be the winning team rather than doing what it takes to become the winning team.
Yeah.
So let's get there. Lots of stuff. Ren, any other thing you want to add to that?
I just want to talk about something Kevin said about how Koetter, he said he feels that he lost the team, and it'd be real hard to argue that he hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really would. But I don't want to jump to that conclusion just yet. I mean, I'm packing the car up and, I'm checking the gas and the oil and the tires for the trip to there,
mm-hmm.
but I'm just not there yet. But what I don't get is how.
Yeah.
Koetter has not done anything wrong to those players.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that I have heard or even had a sniff or a hint at around that team that the team should turn on him unless he is not really the leader. I can't figure it out.
Yep.
It's
there a lot of times. This is what bothers me. Koetter came out in a press conference late this past week, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the Buck in the News show, where he said about the culture of losing. He's like, I thought we had licked that last year, but I guess we're gonna have to go back and figure something out. Here's the deal: last year they had that amazing run. We've all been talking about it, and we're kind of crossing our fingers, hoping we're gonna have a similar run to that here in this second half of the season.
We're not. Newsflash.
Probably not. But listen, here's the thing. It appears to me like whatever they did to lose the culture of losing, they just said, great, we've lost it, and so they stopped doing that. They stopped doing the things that caused them to lose the culture of losing, if that makes sense. And they just said, let's just go back to just doing regular football. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you go to the gym, you work out, what happens? You lose weight, you get muscles, you get sore, right? But if you stop doing that, you're going to lose the muscles. In order to keep the muscles, you have to keep doing what you were doing in order to get them. Same thing here. And I don't know what those things are that has changed, but I bet you if we go back and we do an analysis, something has changed. We got here on the phone. I don't know who this is. Who's talking to us now?
This is Brandon from Maryland.
Brandon from Maryland. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What are your thoughts tonight, buddy?
You know what? I'm sitting here during the game, looking at the Ravens getting their ass beat by the Titans, and I see, I can't see the game completely for the Tampa, and I'm sitting here, okay, they get a field goal, okay, everything's okay with that. You get a field goal, then all of a sudden I see a block punt for a touchdown. When is the last time that we got a block punt for a touchdown on us? Like, come on now, like, come on, like, and we done lost 2 division games. Come on,
only 2 division games.
We can't even say only on them because Carolina and the Saints, these are with the amount of problems that they had going on, like, we should have been winning on them. We should have been on them. And Jameis, like, come on, bro. It's your 3rd year. It's your 3rd year. You got to give us something more than a speech. You got to. Your stats is okay for the NFL, but it's trash to me. You're not performing. You're not performing. Thank God we don't play the Browns this season because we would give them their first win. It doesn't make sense. We were saved 2 years ago because the Jaguars was trash. Because we had other teams in that league that was trash. Now this year, we're like at the bottom. We're at the bottom. I would say we're 32nd. Come on, I mean, come on now. Like, we are trash. If the Browns, come on now. If we played the Browns, do you think we would win compared to with the performance that we had this week?
Are we home or away?
Well, shit. Right now, it feels like our home team is away. Every time we come home, it feels like we're away anyway. Because they play like dog shit, whether we're home or away right now. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I can't imagine like giving up on this season before week 10. Why are they giving up? It ain't even week 10 yet. We got like the block touchdown was fast. Like, I was done. And then Justin Evans playing merry-go-round on the tackle. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Somebody grab this guy, bring him down at least. Jeez.
Yeah. And then there's like
can we
3
get
or
a
4
tackle?
And there's 3 or 4 Buccaneers standing there watching him.
Right.
Just standing there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And you look at Dirk, and you look at Dirk Koetter, and you look at Mike Smith, and they looking at the players like, oh well, on to the next play. Like, come on, like, y'all see what's going on. Y'all see the trash that y'all putting up with the formations that's going on. Do something, change something, give us something. All of this trash that y'all was doing in the first half, change it. Do something. Give us another scheme. Oh my gosh! Like, I'm sick of us getting beat by the Saints. Like, every time we play the Saints, like right now, and they win, it seems like we're getting blown out by them. Drew Brees is old. He's old as shit. We should be beating his ass. I don't understand it. I'm getting pissed off right now just talking about it right now. Thank God I didn't drink today. Like, I would have been done. Like, last week, I was almost under the table because I made a bet to myself. Hey, maybe I'll drink every time we get thrown 20 yards over our heads. Thank God we didn't get too many of those last week, but we got some of those this week. Golly. Like, and then our only touchdown was to a third tight end. I'm like, come on now. Come on, Luke Stockton gets our only touchdown.
Over Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson.
Over Mike Evans.
O.J. Howard.
Oh, my God.
Cam Brate.
Oh, my God.
I mean,
I
Doug Martin.
don't even want to talk about O.J. Howard. Like, hold on to the damn ball, bro. Like, you know what you're doing. Like, hold on. Please hold on to the ball. Like, every time they showed a glimpse of our daggone, every time they showed a glimpse of our game, it was always Saints. Because that's all it was. It was Saints winning, Saints scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this 48-yard pass. I'm like, oh my gosh, yo. I'm sitting here with a Ravens fan, sitting here laughing about them getting their ass beat. When every time we turn to ours, oh shit, we only got 3 points. Come on, like give us something.
Yep.
All of this offense we got. It's like literally, Jameis could close his eyes and throw the ball, and somebody can catch the ball if he throws it accurately. Like we should be catching almost every ball, or at least getting into the end zone at least 2 times a game. There should be no reason why we shouldn't have 14 points at least every game. That's just it's crazy to me. We clean up our kicking. We don't even know if we clean up our kicking because of the simple fact that we can't even get down to the damn end zone in order to figure out exactly if we can kick a field goal or not. Like, we get 1 or 2 field goals. Of course, he makes those because it's 1 or 2. His legs should be fresh. But I mean, come on now. Like, we got to get somewhere. We can't even get to our own side and score. Like, I get it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not week 10 yet.
Right.
Somebody needs to change something. Somebody needs to change something. Dirk needs to do something. Mike Smith needs to do something. We get all these players. We get. Come on now, TJ ain't even done shit since he's been here. TJ ain't done shit
except for scowling on the sideline.
Crap.
That's all he's done. Scowl on the sideline.
Right.
Yep.
And making noise in the day and making noise in his press conference to the kids. Like, he's I mean, come on now. Like, I'm like, all right. We get hype. I see the little pregame thing that Jameis does, and all right, he's going in there like, oh, okay, he's got a game plan in his head that he's gonna win, and he can't even get over 100 yards. I'm sitting here like, all right. Oh, damn, you're supposed to have 100 yards at least before 10 minutes. Shit, you got so many weapons. It's beside. I'm done. I'm done with Jameis right now. He does need to be suspended for 1 game. I'm with everybody on that. He needs to be suspended for 1 game. Yeah, he's young, but he's also he's considered a veteran right now. He's 3 years.
He's almost
3 years in.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just some things that he needs. There's some things he needs to quit doing because, and I don't even want to say something like because that's not what NFL quarterbacks do because everyone's different in their own way. But you have to be better at your position or your craft as an NFL quarterback to be able to pull off, for people to believe you, your teammates to believe you, your teammates to follow you. You know, if you keep doing that stupid stuff where you're trying to throw a shovel pass out to Quiz Rogers while you're being sacked.
Oh my gosh, I hate that shovel pass.
I mean, you come out, you're telling everybody, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. You got to do this, you got to do that, and then you go out there and you just like do some of the stupid but most boneheaded plays, and then you're inaccurate all over the field, and then
inaccurate.
And then so how am I supposed to look at you as your teammate and listen to that speech and not think it's full of fucking shit? It's like
I'm pretty sure everybody's in that speech like, okay, Jameis, well, we need you to show up first, and then we can show up too.
Yeah, I mean,
Jameis, you got to show up first. You're talking all of this crap, but you ain't showing up your damn self.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to have that conversation every time you talk. Every time you want to talk towards your team, you need to have that conversation amongst yourself first before you go to the team. Talk to yourself first. Get yourself right first, and then you can come to the team and start doing what you need to do. Because you're not showing me nothing.
That's right. Hey, Brandon.
We could.
Brandon, I'm gonna go ahead and actually cut this. I'm gonna take this other phone call, but man, thank you for your call. We'll definitely talk more about what you were just talking about. All right.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, buddy. All right, who we got calling in here for us tonight?
Hey, it's Chris from Northwest Georgia again.
Hey there. Hey, do me a favor. Turn us down in the background. I think I hear us a little echo on there. And remind me, what was your name one more time?
Chris from Northwest Georgia.
Chris.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Chris, man. Thanks for calling back in. What's on your mind tonight?
Nothing
I'm
good,
not
I
going to complain
bet.
about the game.
What? You're calling the wrong show then, buddy.
Right, no, so no, I want to talk a little bit deeper about it. So,
Okay.
Big backstory. My dad is a Browns fan since he was born in the 60s, man. Been around with the Factory of Sadness. And I talked to him about the Bucs this year, and he brought up a good point. And he asked me, what do you think the issue with the Bucs is? And I said, I think it's execution across the board. Do y'all agree or disagree?
Agree. I agree. I
Agree.
Yeah, ultimately that's what it is. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the cause of lack of execution, that's debatable. But ultimately, what's not getting we have all the talent. They're just not doing it. They're not executing.
So that's the
Did you lose him? I lost him.
I lost him. Where's the call still connected?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Sorry. I'm going to step outside while I do this. Execution, if it is the issue, commonly the problem for that is either coaching or an over-evaluation of talent.
Okay.
And I do think coaching is not preparing our players for this game properly,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, have we over-evaluated some of our talent?
I would lay the feet at coaching more than I would say it's over evaluation of talent. Now maybe Jason Light, when they signed these guys, maybe it was an over evaluation of talent. But like, I don't think Levante David is overvaluated. I don't think Gerald McCoy is
definitely not.
I don't think Gerald McCoy is overvaluated. I don't think Grimes is overvaluated. Offensively, like just about everybody in the skill position, I don't think is overvaluated. Hump, Brait, Howard, Jackson, Evans, Winston, Martin, like Sims. I don't think any of those guys are overvaluated. Now, if you start to talk to people like maybe Chris Baker or
The whole
Golson's had
offensive line?
the whole offensive. Well, I mean, yeah, Marpet, no. Donovan Smith.
No, yeah, he was great pickup.
He's had two very bad games, Donovan Smith. So, when you only score 6 offensive points in 2 games and your left tackle has 2 bad games, he was playing, fairly well for Donovan Smith before that. But, yeah, especially this game, he just looked like he was totally disinterested. Sweezy, I don't know. Like, I don't really know. Is he blocking well in the run game? I don't know. Is he blocking well in the pass game? I really don't know. Demir Dotson, he's one of the best right tackles according to PFF right now. And Pample, Evan Smith, revolving door there. Who knows? But along the defensive line, Ayers, maybe 1 year too long. Baker, maybe he's being misused. That's kind of what I hesitated when you said it's execution across the board, because I'm really start to lean in the camp that Mike Smith's defensive scheme just doesn't work anymore in the NFL. Kind of like how the cover 2 doesn't work. If you really think about it, we went on that 5-game win streak. Yes, we held teams to low points, but we feasted on turnovers. We didn't really stop teams. We got timely turnovers is what we did. So, I like I said, I'm starting to think on defensively it's scheme, but I see the talent in Justin Evans as safety. It's still a mixed bag with Hargraves, even though his arrow's been trending up just very recently. Beckwith seems to be a good pick. Godwin, I think, just deserves more playing time, honestly. So it's yes and no, to be honest. But so you'd have to put it on coaching. There's a disconnect. Like, either the players have just stopped listening, they don't care, or they don't get it, because I don't want to tell somebody as an adult that they're disinterested when I'm not there. Like, I can't say they don't have heart. I can't say they don't care, because I'm not there. I'm not even there at practice. I'm not there in the one Buck place to even see their body language, attitude in the locker room. None of that. But as a fan, looking at a very far away bird's eye view, especially defensively, it's like everyone's frustrated and no one has answers and no one seems to be on the same page.
Well, no, I mean, I completely agree with you. I literally watched the second and third quarter, and I was just like, I really don't want to ruin my Sunday. But I mean, I watched the one run, or was it a screen pass or a run to the left side that went for a touchdown, and he like literally zigzagged back and forth, and a guy literally just like spun around him and just flew off, and like you see the replay from the sideline view. 4 Bucs defenders are watching the guy spin on him, and they all have a chance to just jump on the tackle, and they just watch.
Yeah,
and I'm
watch.
like, what are y'all doing? Like, how much are you getting paid? Like, I don't get it. But the last thing I want to ask, I've been actually thinking about this for 2 weeks. Obviously, it probably will never get to $1 to go implemented, but I wanted y'all's opinion on it. Arguably, I think that our linebacking unit is the best unit on defense. The defensive line has not performed this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm wondering with the depth of our linebacking core, if it would at least be what would you think about the defense moving to a 3-4? Putting more linebackers out there to help out the secondary and bringing a better pass rush because they're way better than the defensive line, and at least putting some of the better players we have out there on defense.
Well, I'll answer this very quickly. They tried that, and Kendall Beckwith got exposed in pass coverage extremely quickly. He was giving up chunk yards in the Arizona game because that's where they first tried it. Like, you know, they were a little banged up on the defensive line. They're deep at linebacker, so they tried to run a 3-4, and they just kept throwing to Beckwith's side for like big gain after big gain after big gain. So they really don't have the horses to run a 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yes,
they're just a weaker side of the linebackers.
Yeah, it's just, you know, and it's also something you just, you know, I don't know. Like, it's hard to switch up a defense and just figure it out. And like definitely switch like a base defense in the middle. I think that question's been brought up a lot. Honestly, I'm not really enough of an X's and O's guy to be able to tell you the pros and cons of a 4-3 next to a 3-4. All I can really tell you is what I saw when they tried to go to the 3-4 is that in Arizona, who can't score on anybody unless it's us, they just chewed that 3-4 up.
But wasn't Quan Alexander out for the Carolina Cardinals game? I'm having bad memory right now.
Quan, it was.
But
yeah, Quan was out. Am I thinking of the wrong game? What game did they go to the 3-4?
Because I think in the Arizona game they were in a 3-3-5, and that was not working at all because our secondary is trash.
Yeah, well, they have up and down games, which is why everyone's so frustrated. Like there's, you know, it's just there's nothing that ever gets. That's what I was kind of alluding to earlier. Like nothing's getting fixed ever. It's you know, like okay, we need to fix the run stop or fix the secondary. They just can't do it.
So perfect segue, and I've been wanting to ask y'all this question, and this will be my last question.
All right.
You wake up tomorrow, and you're being called by the Glazers, and they're like, hey, man, we're making you the GM. What is your first thing you're doing? I want to hear what both of y'all have to say. What is the first thing you do as the GM?
We'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and clear the line, and then Ren, you go ahead and answer that call. But thank you so much, Chris, for calling. We'll definitely talk to you again here in a couple weeks, all right? Or next week.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Chris. I want you to go first. I want to hear your.
All right, before I get there, there is one caller from a 562 area code who keeps trying to call in, and I do apologize. It's we only have one line. I don't have multiple lines, and I don't have a producer who's in the back taking phone calls. So please do try to call in again. I would love to take your call. Wake up tomorrow morning. If I'm the Glazers, they call me and they say I'm the GM for the day. What do we need to do?
What's the first thing you do?
I call a team meeting and
take away the ping pong table.
No, actually, no. Honestly, the first thing I do is I go down there and I say, business as usual. Let me look. Let me observe. I have to see what they're doing right now so I can assess what the hell's going on. And I know that sounds like a blasé answer because you want action, But I've got to find out what the hell is going on and that's the thing, none of us know. We don't know what is actually happening. Ren, I think you actually just said that a second ago. We don't really know what's going on. I've got to figure out what's going on before we can do that. And that honestly is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down there and see. But then I'm calling a team meeting and I'm going to say, guys, here's what leaders do. Leaders define reality. And we're going to define reality of what they're doing and what they're not doing. And then you're going to talk about where you want to go, and we're going to lay out a roadmap for how to get there. Of course, I don't have specifics on that because I don't exactly know what's going on in the locker room to be able to get around all that. But those are the steps that I'm going to take personally. But if I had to do something, I'm not down for firing coaches just yet. I'm really not. No, that's what I'll do. I'm looking at Dirk Koetter. I'm looking at Mike Smith, Todd Monken, and I'm looking at Jameis Winston and a lot of these other guys, and I'm putting them on a plan. I say, listen, here's your expectations. If you get here, you'll stay. If you don't, you're gone. And it's very clearly laid out and delineated of this is what we're going to do.
It's past the trade deadline. Like normally the first thing I would say would like find a team that needs a piece and give it to them, like trade a Brent Grimes and try to get an edge rusher in return, or maybe a younger developmental corner, or a running back, something. Mm-hmm. But since you can't really trade anybody, what would be the first thing I would do? I'd give the PeterCast press credentials. I'd do that
for life.
For life. You know what the first thing I would do, honestly, and this is because I kind of want to fall into your answer as well. Like I need a week to walk around and see what's what before if I start making heads roll, if I do fire anybody. I think the first thing I would do, and at this point, since there's no answers, I'm blaming it on this. I would make us wear our red jerseys at home. Everyone freaks out about that, how we never wear our red jerseys at home, how we're always like white on white, or white with Peter. None of that really matters, but sort of like to get the fans on my side. And I'm almost to the point too where like I don't get the rhyme or reason to it, sort of like how the Glazers you can't find their rhyme or reason how they do the Ring of Honor, because it seems to be all one year it's one person, next year it's two people, then it's an old new, now it's an owner and coach. Like you can't really understand how that they have a plan for the Ring of Honor. I would just say the Bucs will be wearing their red jerseys at home all year, not waiting till November crap. Like we're at home, we wear our red.
Yeah. I agree. I'll tell you something. And, a lot of people go back and forth on this. A lot of people, whatever. They're saying in the chat room right now, a lot of people are saying they would force Dirk to give up play calling. Now, listen, I'm going to throw this out there. Sean Payton, he calls the plays for his team on offense as a head coach. Now, you look at the difference between the two guys, whatever. I can't tell you – I can't sit back and say, oh, he should give up the play calling because he's a bad play caller. I don't think that that's true. He should give up play calling because that way he can't focus on blah, blah, blah. Listen, when you're in that level of leadership, when you're in that level of management, so to speak, you should be doing only the things that only you can do. And right now on the Buccaneers coaching staff, Dirk Koetter is not the only one who can call the plays. And so by sheer fact of there is somebody else who can call the plays, he should cede that to somebody else and let them do that so that he can do the things that only he can do. And those are the things that he needs to be focusing on as head coach. That is one thing that I would and I would highly encourage that right now. I would encourage that of all coaches. And
it's not Koetter's, it's not the play calling, it's execution.
And you're right.
You're right. Jameis Winston.
Yep.
The reason we don't score the first half is because of Jameis Winston.
Yep.
It just is. I'm not saying get him out of here or bench him or any of that, unless he's hurt. But I'm just telling you, it's his erratic throwing. It's his poor decision making. It's being too hyped. Like how many times do we have to use the excuse, well, it takes Jameis a little while to get going because he gets so hyped?
That's
for
a
the
bullshit
game.
excuse.
Yeah.
That's a bullshit excuse. I'm tired of it.
Stop. Yeah, like, quit it. Well, then don't get that hyped. Take your fingers out of your mouth. Like, just stop it. Like, you need to shut your mouth and you need to concentrate on you. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. When someone asks you a question, answer it as the leader of the organization, the face of the franchise. After that, do not act like the face of the franchise. You are not the mouthpiece for all 53 guys on this team. You do not speak for everybody. What you need to do is quit making dumb decisions, quit getting all hyped up, and quit just quit being so stupid. Take what the defense gives you. Quit trying to score 10 points every time you throw the ball. It cannot be done.
So I had this thought. That touchdown pass from Fitzpatrick to Luke Stocker, right? Stocker's open, Waltz is right in. Other side of the field, Mike Evans was wide open. And I guarantee you, I had this thought in the moment. I wrote it down. I said, I guarantee you, if Jameis was in on that, he would have forced that ball over to Mike Evans. And Mike Evans, he was open, but it was a harder throw than just the little dink over to Luke Stocker. But I just damn near guarantee you he would have gone for Evans in that situation and not Luke Stocker.
You've heard him say it, and everyone totally ignored it. At one press conference this year, he said, well, Mike and I sort of have this deal. If he's one-on-one down near the goal line, I throw it to him. He said that in a press conference. So if you look out defensively and Mike Evans at one-on-one, he's going to throw to him because that's the deal they've made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is that?
Yeah. All right, let me take this phone call and see who we've got here. You are on the line with Brent and Ren. Who do we got here talking to us tonight?
This is Sean. How's it going, man?
Sean, how's it going, my friend? I think you've tried calling us in a few times tonight. So glad we could finally get you through on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What's on your mind tonight, man?
So, what's on your mind, man? What's on your guys' mind as Buccaneer, radio hosts, and what's the big problem?
That's exactly what we've been trying to I don't even want to say figure out, just the things we keep spinning around. Something's going on, something's wrong. Let's figure it out. Ren's a lot more heated this week than he was last week. I'm a little bit more blasé, and I was pretty heated last week, so we've switched chairs a little bit for today's show. So how about yourself?
Mm-hmm. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Buccaneer Tattoos and Die Hard Fans. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a new Buck page that's out there. I created this page last year in December. We're going to hit 10,000 less than a year. It's a true Die Hard Buck fan page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I've created on Facebook is a photo page of basically post your photo and how you feel, with a quote above it and how you feel pretty much. And what I've learned in the last year with Buccaneer fans is, and this is my heated subject for, I guess, tonight, which will maybe make your show good for the night. We have a big problem in our fan base and being loyal. Okay? We win, we lose. Okay. We're not the Browns. Okay? We have a Super Bowl. Fair to say?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Are you there with me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a delay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there might be a smidge delay, but yeah, we're here.
No, I apologize about that. So we have a Super Bowl. We are a talented football team that gets talent all the time. We have a fan base that I don't know if it affects our team sometimes. And I'm going to be honest with you, with what I've learned in just having obviously 9,000 to 10,000 fans. You've got a good solid 40% of fans that are just loyal, great, full-out fans. And what's sad about it is they're all out of the state of Tampa or Florida. They're all from you're from South Carolina, right? I mean, I've got fan bases from different countries, from China, Japan,
from all over the place, and these guys will speak more positive than your fan base out of Tampa. And the things that these guys are saying in Tampa, they almost swear and act like they own the Buccaneers. Now, I sometimes, and I question, is our fan base what sometimes kills the way maybe players, they look into what social media says. Hate it or not, or believe it or not, they do. They want to see what people are saying about them. What's this and that? It's best they don't do it, but they do it. Mm-hmm. And it's, to me, it's why bash a team that's we're now 2-6, obviously. When you're bashing your team. Okay, because I do a live stream in the first quarter, second quarter. When you're bashing your team in the first quarter, second quarter, you're not even at halftime, and you're saying, we just stink.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, with the talent base that we have. Now, obviously, it's true. I hate to say it. I hate to agree with it, that we're just not a good football team. But talent-wise, is it because of our talent, or is it because of our offensive play calling? Is it because of our line? Is it because of, we can go on back and forth all day about what we can think it is, but why bash the team in the first quarter? And I've watched this since game 3.
Right.
Since game 3.
Yeah,
so,
Go ahead, finish
go
up.
Ahead,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. So I guess my point is as a fan base for the Buccaneers, we are sad as Buc fans. And I think that's the point I want to make tonight is us as Buc fans, we need to look in the mirror and go, are we true fans?
All right. Well, hey, Sean, I'm actually going to go ahead and clear this line because we've actually hit over our time limit on this. But Ren and I are going to respond to it. It's really okay, man. But we will. We've heard what you said, and we'll definitely respond to what you've got there. Okay.
All right, thank you, man.
Thanks for calling in, Sean. Yeah, Buc fans. Our good friend Nikki, she often talks about she studies fan culture, and I'd be curious to know her thoughts on the fans, but I'm not sure that she wants to call in and let us know. I'm not even sure if she's still around for us. But fan culture is a very interesting thing. I think Sean brings up a little bit of a point, Ren, that we talked about on the Buck in the News show, where what I had said was, if you remember, I said, being a Bucs fan is kind of like being married. They don't need to tell, the team doesn't need us to fix things for them. Like they'll get there. But this show and social media and whatever is for us as fans to be able to come together and to talk about our team and figure those things out. So at least amongst ourselves and see what we can get. For some people, as they say in the chat room right now, it's good therapy.
It is.
And it really is. The bigger thing, especially with this group, and hey, listen, shout out to everybody who's in the chat room. The chat room is continuing to grow. We are up over an hour and about 15 minutes on the show right now, which is crazy. So I'm going to put this out there, guys. Listen, I said we would stay with you as long as people are calling in. The phone line is open, 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. If you guys call in, we'll keep talking, but Ren, we'll go ahead and kind of turn the corner, at least as far as we are concerned. I am in agreement with the idea that fans need to be fans. Win, lose, draw, whatever. We love our fans. And here's the thing I can say about this fan base. There are people who come and go, right? There are people who jump on the bandwagon and then they fall off. There are other people who jump on the bandwagon and then never get off, even when it hurts. And those are the fans that I'm proud to associate myself with. Now, we may get all up in arms with each other. We may get all up in arms. It's kind of like when somebody starts picking on your little brother. Like, you can fight your little brother, but don't you fight my little brother, so you're going to have to fight me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I feel like that's what Bucs Fan is about. We can get pissed off at our team, but don't you come attack our team. That you're not a fan of our team, you don't get to come attack our team. we're going to stick together because we are in with this team ride or die. I'm thinking about our good friend Derek Fournier over at What the Buck. He's been doing podcasts like these for 12 years. The better part of that, losing seasons. And, he's dealt with this year in and year out. I'd be interested to get his thoughts on how things like this go. So, do I wish fans wouldn't get so off the wall crazy and bouncing back and forth and in and around? Yeah, sure, you betcha. But, it's also a good fan base in that we do tend to stick by our team, even if you can't go to the games all the time.
I'm going to disagree. I think that a lot of fans bounce back and forth, as far as jumping on and off the bandwagon. It's just the way that sort of like the social media reads. Like, they're so angry and they're so mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that it's, cathartic and you get to vent, and that's, it's your account. You do what you want with it. But, once you've sort of jumped ship, which is your right, I get it. Some people care so much that it actually ruins their Sunday, or it might ruin most of their week that the Bucs lose. So, but if you jump ship, then stay off ship and just sort of keep your thoughts to yourself.
All right, well, let's see who we've got calling in. I think I hear a little bit of an echo. If you could turn us down there in the background and let us know who we're talking to.
I didn't even know that I had this thing on, so hold on.
Uh-oh, I recognize this voice. Is this the one and only?
Do you really have an echo? Because I don't even think I have
not anymore.
On.
Nope, you're good. Not anymore. You are good to go.
Because I was listening on my phone, so it would be really awkward.
It maybe was an echo through the phone.
There was an echo.
Is this the Bucs Princess?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Yes.
Hey, Nikki.
Hi.
Nikki, people have been...
I don't know y'all are begging me to talk, but I don't really know what you want me to say.
People in the chat room have been begging for you to come talk. Like, every other post is call Nikki, call Nikki, call Nikki.
I know.
Well, Brent
I don't get it, but I appreciate it.
Brent said that you study other teams' fandoms, or how did you put it, Brent?
No,
fan culture?
What he means... Yeah, what he means is I have an interest, I guess, is what I should say, in fan culture in general.
Okay.
I really enjoy going around to different stadiums and seeing the way, just the fan culture. I mean, I can't put it any other way than that. Like, this year, one of the coolest things was going to that Minnesota game, just because, every single time the team scores, the entire stadium starts singing a song together. Like, just stuff like that. And just kind of seeing the different ways that fans express themselves. And, like Derek says many times, like, we have such an impulsive and reactive fan base at times, and I know I've called people out for similar things, but we don't follow other fan bases in their times of terror, in a sense. Like, I don't know if the Browns fans are constantly jumping off the cliff the way our fans seem to do sometimes. I mean, I would assume they are, because losing sucks, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I mean, there's two games on this in the past season. I'm sorry, I'm really tired, and I was trying to work on homework and listen to you guys. But anyways, there was two games we should have won. That Patriots game was one, and there's another one, the Bills game. We should have won those games, right? So, right, if we had won those, we'd be, 4 and 5?
4
Is that where we'd be? No.
4 and 4.
4 and 4, right? And losing this game today would have been, the conversation we'd be having is very different.
Right.
And so I think what I have to keep reminding myself, and I'm trying to remind other fans, is that the line between 6 and 10 and 10 and 6 is razor thin. So many things have to align for a win to happen, and so many things can go wrong at the same time. The line is very, very, very thin. Like, if we were 4 and 4, would we be this pissed off about things? I don't think so. Yeah, we'd be bugged because we had so much more hype and all those things, but I don't know. like Craig said it earlier in the chat room too, like winning cures all, and I totally get that. But we have to remember how close we have come to being a 500 team, even just this season. That sounds, the way we're talking about things tonight, it just sounds like it's the worst thing that's ever happened to us. And I know that's not, I'm just being exaggerative, but you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get it.
And, I totally understand. I totally understand the mentality of, we're fans, we're fanatics, we should be able to vent and, bitch and complain about everything that we feel is wrong. And, I know I saw Craig say, and I'm not calling Craig out personally because I actually really like Craig, and I totally side with him on a lot of things, but, he was mentioning the return on investment, mentioning, the money that you spend to go on a trip and pay for a hotel and these things that I think sometimes local fans take for granted, especially us that are non-local.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get those luxuries of spending $1,500 and getting, you're bitching that you have to go to preseason games included in that price, but I spend $1,500 for one game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand, but I guess when people talk about those things and they say watching this team is a waste of time and I'm spending my hard-earned money on this and our product sucks, well, then don't do it, right? Like, and that's where I say, like, I don't know if anybody really wants to hear what I think about this because I'm kind of like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to look for Buccaneers tickets at the next game that's closest to me. And I'm going to put my shirt on. And I choose to follow this team. If we don't win another game in the next 2 years, I'm still going to go to 4 games a year if I can. So if you want to be a fan, and I'm not calling anybody out and saying you're not a fan if you're not doing these things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you're pissed off about what you're doing and not getting a return on that, then don't do it. Come back.
Right.
I don't want to see this sound so bad. I'm making it sound worse than I mean it. But it's like, then come back when you feel like we are going to win 10 games and you can spend $1,500 and go to a game that's going to be a win. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I'm going to spend $1,500 because I'm a Bucs fan and I'm ready to this team no matter what. And like I said, I'm not calling anybody's fan cards out. That's not the point of this. But if you don't want to do it, then don't do it.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I think we sort of have two different buttons because we're sort of two different fans. I'm a local fan. I actually, I don't have to, spend that money to, like you do, like $1,500 to see one game. I actually get that. I felt so bad for you guys during the Cardinals game, the Buckaholics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that came to my mind like 3 or 4 times watching that game. Like, God, these people spent all that money and traveled and, met up and had this huge tailgate, and this is the effort the Bucs put out on the field for them.
Right, but what makes it worth it is the family that we've created. It is the tailgate. And, yes, the tailgate was better than the game, but that's what makes these things worth it. These relationships that we've built, the fact that I can call you guys from New Mexico and I can talk, to, I don't know, somebody was in Georgia and I know Craig's in Vegas. And the fact that we have this community, that's what makes all of this worth it. The fact that we all love this team. And like I said, that's why when I say if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And it has nothing to do with you not being a fan or me being a better fan than you. It has nothing to do with that. If you're rooting for the Buccaneers versus 31 other teams, then that's all that freaking matters to me. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cough.
No.
Just kidding.
Sorry. Did you hear that? I'm trying to cover it up. I just had an acid reflux right then. Yay.
I don't know what that felt like.
2 things. One, the ones that get me on social media are the ones that start saying fire everybody. This player's trash, that player's trash. If you want to vent, say something like this team's frustrating. Along those lines.
But you can't tell people how to express themselves either, and that's why in some ways I do side with the fact that you should be able to vent it out, and that's why we have shows like this to call in and voice it and talk about it. But at the end of the day, nothing we do is going to fix it or change it. So we have to make the choice. You have to make the choice every day to continue to be a Bucs fan.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And that's just my thing.
Nikki, I might disagree with you on one point there. Because now you can call me crazy. Everybody in the world can call me crazy, but I do believe that, come the next home game, which is this weekend. That's right. We're playing the Jets at home this weekend, right? If the fans show up en masse and the fans are cheering and going raucous for the team, and there's that energy that feeds back out of the crowd to the players talk about that a lot. The fans were electric and they were feeding off of that. That is only going to help the team. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to guarantee a win. I'm not saying that that's going to prevent losses. I'm not saying any of that, because the players still have to go out and execute. They still got to do what they need to do. Coaches still have to coach. But I do think that we can help, and I do think on the flip side, like if the stands are empty, that just takes a team that is already demoralized and demoralizes them a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So but neither what you and I tweet is going to change how Jameis Winston connects with Deshaun Jackson on a deep pass. What you and I tweet isn't going to change whether or not Mike Evans catches that ball. So I get what you're saying. I think that there is when we as fans can come back together, and we continue to be fans and we're cheering on our team, that can only help the team. But to the other point that you were saying, the good part about this is we can make some friends. Look, here's the deal, guys. I just moved to a brand new city. I just moved to Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know anybody in this town. My wife doesn't know anybody in this town, but let me tell you what, I feel like I've got a crap ton of friends, and they're all my Buccaneer fans. It's you, Nikki. It's you, Ren. It's you, Kevin. It's you, Craig, out in Vegas. It's you, Trevor, over in Orlando. It's you, Chris. It's you, Dan, up in Atlanta. It's Derek. It's my friends over at Bucs and Brews. It's Javier down in Panama. It's our Dan over in the UK. Our guys like we're all friends. You know what I'm saying? Like we're in this together. So I don't know. I love this fan base. I love being a part of this group, and glad to do what we can do on this podcast anyway, just to help bring the fan base together a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree, and that's why we do this, right? That's why you're sitting here trying to create this show. It's to bring us together, because we all love the same team, and how you express that love is on you, right? And you have the agency to do that. If you want to be pissed off and fight everybody, if that's your way of expressing it and demanding a better product, and I totally understand that perspective. Please, it's not that I'm condemning any of that, but you should be allowed to be a fan. But at the end of the day, we go to bed tonight and we wake up tomorrow and we choose to be Bucs fans.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of it. If you don't want to do it anymore, then don't. Nobody's begging you to stick around. The team ain't begging you. They don't care. I mean, they're doing their part, and we got to do ours. And whether that means, taking a step back at times, or riding and dying through the hell wagon ride that we're on. I mean, it's a constant choice to be a Bucs fan. And every day I wake up, I am proud to put on that logo, because I wear it every day.
Do you really? Every day?
Every day. Pretty much in some way, shape, or form. I'm tattooed with it 3 times, but
oh, that's right.
I'm constantly branded with this team. I always have something with me that's Bucs. It's just, like, people laugh at me and they're like, do you have anything that's not Bucs? Like, do you have other clothes? So, I don't know. It is what it is. And like I said, it's so blunt and so harsh, and it's not on anybody in particular. It's just a thought that I feel like if you don't want to do it, then don't. You don't have to.
Agreed. I just want to end it with this. When you were out in Phoenix and the Buckaholics, and the Buccaneers crew came out there and filmed you guys, and it looked like to me that you got to meet Casey Phillips. Is she cool, or is she
I saw her. No, she's super cool because I saw her because I had field passes last week when I was in Tampa. And so she can, her and I chit-chatted on the sideline even last week. So, no, she's super cool.
That was
She's just tiny. She's tiny.
Well, she's taller than me, but yeah, she is a twig.
She is tiny.
No, he means she's tiny.
But I'm a
short.
fat kid, so I like my mac and cheese.
There you go. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for calling in tonight and sharing with us about that. Bucs Princess, everybody. She is a guest, a past guest here on the PewterCast for the former main show, which will now be the Final Thoughts show that we'll have coming out in the midweek.
And a trophy winner.
And a trophy winner, PewterCast Award winner, guest of the year for last year, which is very fun. Nikki, we always appreciate your thoughts, and I'm going to let you go so you can get back to studying, all right?
All right, thanks, guys. I appreciate
Nikki.
Everything you've done for me and supported me and let me vent when I have no analysis because school consumes my life. But I appreciate it.
Hey, real quick before you go, I think a quick
What's up?
congratulations or something. I saw out there you passed a test or you got through some class or something like that on your way out.
Yeah. On the weekend after Arizona, which was sandwiched between Arizona and the Carolina game that I went to, I had to prepare for an 8.5-hour exam. That if I don't pass this test, I don't graduate my master's program. So it was a very intense, crazy day of 8 hours of nonstop questions. And I just found out last Thursday or last Wednesday that I passed with flying colors.
There you go. And Bucs fans across the world are celebrating with Bucs Princess Nikki. So, Nikki, you have a great one, all right?
Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, we'll do it. Bucs Princess. The princess has spoken.
Buc fans across the world are celebrating. It's a little much, Brett.
They might be. I don't know. Maybe. Somebody in another country call or at least shoot me an email and let me know that you were celebrating so I don't seem like a dag-blasted fool there. But congratulations. See, Nikki's getting a whole lot of love and a lot of congratulations in the chat room right now. All right, guys. Well, that I think is going to get us. If you call in and interrupt my closing, I will take your call. But otherwise, Ren, I'll go ahead and kind of toss it over to you. We've got a Final Thought show coming out here in a couple days, so we'll certainly have more to talk about for that. But for right now, anything that you still got kind of simmering there that you want to get out here for the instant reaction show?
No, not really. I mean, I talked a little bit about it, about how as guys you instinctively want to fix things, and when you see your favorite team and they're flailing the way they are,
mm-hmm.
and you just can't put your finger on it, and at least you have an idea what to fix or what these coaches should be trying to fix. And I thought a lot of questions were going to be answered for this Saints game. I thought it was going to be the other way, honestly,
mm-hmm.
as far as score-wise. But this team is lost, and they're – I don't even care about identity. Like, it's like 53 strangers are going out there and add the coaches in. It's like these guys all met at the airport and put on the same colored clothes and went to a game. So it's hard to watch, and it's rough. But, Nikki's right. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and guess what? I'm going to choose to be a Bucs fan.
It is a choice you get to make every day. As Kev's final thoughts for me, I'm looking over my notes here, and the one thing we really haven't talked about, and I just feel like I have to say, Will Golston going out on a stretcher and cart. Last I heard, he was on his way to the hospital. I have not heard any updates to his deal just yet. But
no, he was tested and cleared, and he actually flew home with the team.
Did he? What did they? Was it a concussion? Did they think he broke his neck? What exact? Do you know what it was that caused that
really
whole big thing?
No. I think it was just more being like overly cautious than anything.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and do not take this as gospel, was when they got out there, he's like, basically he felt like he had a stinger. He's like, I have tingling in my arms, and he was sort of holding his head and neck area.
Uh-huh.
So be overly cautious. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to shut this down. Anyway, he's fine.
Okay. Cool. Well, so thoughts and prayers out to him. Hopefully he continues to be fine, and that's all that we have of him as far as being out. Hopefully we'll see him back. But guys, we've got lots more thoughts that certainly as things simmer, as things level out here maybe over the next couple of days. We do have our final thought show coming up later this week. That'll be coming out on Wednesday, and then we'll of course have our Saturday show coming out Saturday morning, Buck in the News, where we'll wrap up all of the news and the headlines. We'll take a look at the final injury report of the week, and as we turn towards the Jets game. With that, Ren, as we're looking to get out of here, why don't you, if you can, let people know where they can get a hold of you and find more of your work out there on the internet.
All right. I don't think I can.
That's all right. I'll get it for you. If you want to connect with Ren, it's at Rendaxt, REN_DAXT. He is always down to talk Bucs football. If you want to get in touch with me personally, you can find me on at Brent Allen Live on Twitter or Facebook.com/Brent Allen Live. Or you can tweet us at the show. That's at the Pewtercast, also on Facebook.com/the Pewtercast. And please do send in emails to thepewtercast@gmail.com. If you send those in, especially related to the game, we will make sure that we read those and get those on to our final thoughts show coming out. So you got a couple days, shoot in those emails, and we would love to talk to you guys then. Other than that, guys, thank you so much to everybody who has joined us at Mixler. It was a record night, record phone calls. You guys are awesome. This is by far the longest InstantCast show that we've ever done, but you guys didn't stop calling, so it was great to get to talk to all of you guys, and really, really appreciate you guys. We will be back. Stay tuned for next week. We were able to pull out an InstantCast last week with a home game. We got a home game coming up this week. Stay tuned. We'll see exactly what we get to do. Follow us on Twitter. We'll let you know what's going on there. But until then, we'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. And until then, as we always say, even after a game like tonight, go Bucs.